Hello, Ebony, do you know I'm there? Hello, hello.
I could,
Ebony, are you there? Oh,
yes, Elizabeth, we hear you. Can you hear me?
oh, good. Yes, I can. Thank you so much.
Let me make sure she can hear me. Elizabeth, can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay.
you're on. We haven't started yet.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We're able to bring about a coalition between in Europe.
I just want to verify you can still hear me.
Good evening, late afternoon, early evening, everybody. I'm going to call this meeting of the Las Vegas Clark County Library District Board of Trustees to order July 10th at 5:01 p.m. Ms. Nance, would you please call the roll?
Chair Wah,
Here.
Trustee Rogers, Trustee Haran,
Here.
Trustee Whiteley.
Rogers, present.
I have you. Trustee Foyt,
Here.
Trustee Ortiz,
Present.
Trustee Benavidez, Trustee Sanchez, Trustee Dukowski,
Present.
and we do have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you very much. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Moving to agenda item number 2, public comment. Topics raised on this item must be limited to matters on today's agenda. Anyone wishing to speak during this item must sign up on the roster provided prior to public comment period. Do we have anyone for public comment?
Yes, we do. And you all can just go up one by one and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Shondell Newsom. I'm going to speak on item 8, new business B3. And I'll start by saying my name. My address is 313 Carrington Street. And I'll start by saying, I grew up in with a mother who was a school teacher. So I spent a lot of time in libraries. But in fact, this library itself was the library that my kids went to. And I verified it. I was like, wow, about 25, 30 years ago. Sorry to say, but it's always been a great experience in the Las Vegas Clark County Library District. And so when I was chairman of the Urban Chamber of Commerce, I got to meet Mr. Watson and me and Ken Evans. Ken was the president, and we were really being tough on him to make sure that we were going to get what we wanted to have in our community, not just for the children, but also for the young adults. And we also pushed him to look at outside the box in entrepreneurship. I'm a small business owner. We owned a business for 18 years in our third generation. Have my daughter as the CEO. My granddaughter is a marketing coordinator at our firm. And one of the things that we really believe in is education. And we believe that libraries are a very critical piece of our community. And when we had the presentation for the West Side, the new library on the West Side, we were blown away. And our firm actually did all of the outreach and engagement and educated the community on what we're looking at with the 21st Century Library. I'm very impressed by the work that Mr. Watson has done and how he's ingrained in the community. And I'm really excited about the future and the opportunities that we have. So I thank you guys for always looking outside and thinking outside the box and having somebody in leadership who can definitely guide us in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public comment.
Hi, my name is Robert Bush, Dr. Robert Bush with the National Action Network, an organization here in Las Vegas and founded by the Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm here to speak on item 8, B3. And I want to say, first of all, that as a native graduate of Rancho High School, I hadn't been into a library in over 40 years. And it was because of Mr. Kelvin Watson that I got excited about visiting a library and at least checking out and tapping into the resources of the libraries in our city. And I, sad to say, time had passed me by, and that these libraries are providing an incredible resource for our community that I think our community can't do without. But Mr. Watson is a remarkable individual who has quickly become an integral part of our community in every way. It's not hard when you talk with him to hear his dedication, to see his dedication to not just the community, but to the kids in the community, to the people in the community. He has become an extraordinary leader in our community, and National Action Network was proud to honor him as an extraordinary leader during our Black History Week. Listen, it's hard to imagine going into the community and not seeing Mr. Watson somewhere in the community. He is, well, let me say it this way for our hip hop heads. Jay-Z told Nas, "I'm everywhere and you ain't never there." And he is become our Jay-Z. He's there, he's present. And in order to be a leader in this community, you have to be present. You have to be accountable, and you have to show up. And I will say that he has shown up in more ways than one in our community. We're proud to have him here. And we're happy that we have finally we're very proud in our community that we finally have the first Black executive director for the Clark County Libraries in this community, who is not just going through the motions, but is doing a wonderful job. We're proud of him, and you should be proud of him also. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bush. Mr. Jordan?
Good evening. I'm Louis Jordan. I'm the proud executive of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. And I rise today. First of all, I want to say I probably should have been here a while ago, just to thank you as a board for the collaboration and the partnership that's been demonstrated since I got here. I think Mr. Watson came a little bit before I did. And having done this work all around the country, I can't tell you how much easier his willingness to collaborate and partner has made my job and the 45,000 or so people that we serve at the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. I could stand here and give examples of laptop giveaways, Chromebook giveaways, showing up at community meetings. If you're paying attention to the news, there's a lot going on as it relates to housing right now. Prime example, yesterday, we received a $3 million Jobs Plus grant, an employment grant. And somewhere in that process, Mr. Watson and I sat at a table for a long night, helping craft what story we needed to tell the Southern Nevadans in order to get this grant. And as you know, with any federal grants, they're competitive. We're one of 12 housing authorities around the country who got the grant. A number of housing authorities applied. It's so important that we continue to have this level of synergy. Again, one of the easier parts about my job is coming into a community like this and not having to convince a leader of libraries or education that there's a nexus between housing and education, housing and libraries. And some of the things that we've seen around the country are very similar to the things we want to do, as we're in the process of redeveloping Marble Manor, which is right down the street from the new development, the new library you're putting in. You know, we're talking about ways in which we can get folk from one point to the other, as well as looking at the possibility of having remote kiosks in our development. So again, a little late in getting here and telling the board thank you, but I want to say thank you, and also want to say that I'm glad that as I don't think we can call ourselves new anymore. We've been here for a while, but it's good to have the partnership and collaboration. But what's most important, it's so good to work with a leader that gets it, and we're looking forward to doing more work together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Asha Jones, and I'm here to just talk about how amazing the library is, and then also Mr. Watson, as we call him. I'm also a Rancho graduate, so I'm glad to hear that. This community means so much to me, and I think about my earliest memories of the library. We grew up in Henderson. I went to CT Sewell, and my mother made us believe the library was an outing. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and there wasn't a lot of money to go out and do things, so we really celebrated going to the library. And one day she took me to the library and she's like, stay here while I grocery shop. The library closed. So I sat outside the library. They let me check out my books. They made sure I was safe. And I spent like 2 hours reading outside and didn't miss a beat. And then we moved and we came over into central Las Vegas behind Rancho High School, and the historic West Side Library, which is now Muhammad Mosque 75, I believe, was the library that we went to when we watched movies. And I remember we didn't have anything to put our popcorn in. So I took my little brother's hat and put popcorn in it. And that's how we ate our popcorn at the library watching the movie. I went on to experience the Doolittle Recreation Center and the library there, went to help out at the Performing Arts Camp. That whole area was just a place where I grew up. And then I went on, and my son, we did the same thing. He did tutoring here at this library. I also taught him the Dewey Decimal System. He didn't need it. We had computers, but I wanted him to learn. And we were at the Sahara West Library. And I remember the librarian saying, what are you doing? I said, I'm showing him how to look up books. And she's like, well, you can use a computer. I was like, no, I want him to understand the Dewey Decimal System. And she was like, my gosh, I've never had anybody do that. I was like, yeah, I'm that weirdo. So the library has always been a part of my life and my family's life. What I will say is, if my career, I do community work, and people come to Las Vegas because they're going to save us. You know, in politics, they come in and they're like, we're the ones who are going to get everybody to vote. We've had whole churches move here because they want to save the souls of Las Vegas. And I tell people, when you come to this community, you have to become a part of our community. It's not enough to come in and say, I'm here to help. You have to actually show us, and we're hard on you. I have people, they're like, you guys, Vegas doesn't let anybody in. I was like, well, you need to demonstrate your commitment to Vegas, and then we'll let you in. And that's something I saw with Mr. Watson. When he got the job, we were like, okay, let's see who this guy is. And I began to see him everywhere. I do community work. I'm everywhere, 6-7 days a week. And then I would see him. So we started talking. And I'm one of those people, if I want to get to know you, I'm just going to call you and say, hey, you don't know me. I don't know you, but we should know each other. And we got to talking, and he's talked about all the ideas and literacy. And then I had some ideas, and he's like, okay, let's do it. And I wasn't used to that. I was like, wait, I don't have my plan yet. It's just an idea. But he really challenged me to, kind of operate in the vein that I was looking at. So one of our most recent celebrations, the West Las Vegas Library, there was a lot of community concern about what it was going to look like, what it meant to the community, what we were taking away, what we were giving. And at the time, I worked for Congressman Horsford, and people do call their congressman about the library. They're trying to take it. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. And I had the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Watson and also some other folks and really understand. So I got my perspective, and then I gave them a list of 15 people. And I did this with Mel, the architect. These are the people in our community you need to talk to, and you need to let them know what's happening. Because for us, we need to know that we're a part of it. It's being done with us and not to us. And some of those people on that list were rough. They were gonna let you know. But they took that list, and Mr. Watson, not afraid to talk to anybody, sat down, took the fires, took the arrows. And then I was out of town for the groundbreaking, but I heard it was amazing, and people have really changed their tone. And I think that comes from someone who's committed to community. So I stand here in support of him and everything that he's doing, and then the projects that I have that I need him to help me with that are coming, but just looking at how we can continue, because libraries are needed. They are so necessary. There are things that are happening. Our kids are not getting access. And when I see the innovative ways that he's going out, and during the pandemic and Wi-Fi and all these things, we need to keep that going. And I know he doesn't do it by himself. I know he has an amazing team that actually comes out and supports and helps, and leadership matters. Our libraries matter, and leadership matters. So that is mine. And I thank you for all that you do.
And Asha, you being everywhere is an understatement. But
Hello, my name is Dina Linderholm, address 6868 Sky Point Drive. I am the director of the Las Vegas Executives Association. A little history. We are an executive association full of C-suites, C-suite executives. We've been here in the Las Vegas Valley since 1967, and we like to take pride in our members. There's a very arduous, to say the least, vetting system to become a member. Mr. Ron Heesen was a very well-respected member of the Las Vegas Executive Association. He retired in 2020. So you can imagine my delight when Mr. Bruce Woodbury came to me and he said, Dina, I believe we've found the right representative for the Clark County Library District. So jump to, Mr. Watson went through all of the vetting system. He gives a presentation to our membership. I could have heard a pin drop that day. Now remember, these are very busy executives, usually on their phone. Suddenly they started to take notes and a pin drop. By the time Mr. Watson finished his presentation, there was a line on the side of at the side of the room to sign up for library cards. He actually brought some colleagues there to sign up library cards. The next week, some of my executives came in. I've never seen so many people wear #GetConnected t-shirts to the next executive association meeting. So that was fun. What happened was he ignited a sense of enthusiasm that some of the seasoned members and other members in the community did not realize that the library resources offer. The art programs, the workshops, the online programs, the resources for employees. So what I found, I can tell you what not only I've seen, but what I've heard from some of these members is that they went back to their offices that day and they encouraged their employees to get a card, to get involved and be involved in some of the programs, whether professionally or personally. Not only that, I had members ask me if it would be okay if Mr. Watson can give them tours of the library with their children or grandchildren. And I will say some of our seasoned members don't like change, and they certainly don't like technology. What I found was this was a new way for these members, seasoned members, to do something valuable with their grandkids. They are learning something new, and they're both learning, but suddenly it's a really cool thing. Suddenly, the grandpas became really cool because of what the library is bringing. But not only that, Mr. Watson has become the go-to for resources among many of our members. And that has been a valuable, valuable asset. Recently, believe it was the beginning of the year, one of my members came to me and he said, Dina, one of my employees came in. They were super, super excited that they went to a barbershop. I can't remember which one. He says, there were library books. He says, my son, everybody teases him. He likes to read. He doesn't want to read anymore. It's kind of nerdy. Doesn't want to do it. Wants to be one of the cool kids. The next day, he took his son to the the barbershop. And suddenly he said, look at all these other people reading books. This is the cool thing to do. It's there's change going on. So that was a positive thing. And I was proud to hear that from one of our members. Now, what I'm learning in the community is that the future leaders of this community want positive, enthusiastic, innovative change, forward thinking, outside of the box thinking. And I believe, they don't want it, they expect it from us. And I believe Mr. Watson is on the forefront of doing that for our community. So in conclusion, I would like to say that not only has Mr. Watson generated this enthusiasm with LVEA, their members, their employees, and also their families, that's well over 100+ individuals here in the Las Vegas Valley. So I appreciate your time and thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Well, good evening. My name is John Ronaldo, 709 Vantage Lane, 89145. Agenda item, 8B3. I'm here representing Cristo Rey St. Viator College Preparatory High School in North Las Vegas and as the Director of Business Partnerships. And first of all, I have to say I'm literally reading 3 books at the same time right now from the library district. And I'm really thankful for that as I'm reading The Voyage of the Dawn Treader from C.S. Lewis. I'm reading a Andrew Jackson biography and a Truman biography all at the same time. I don't know why I'm doing that, but that's my love for books. But I'm truly thankful for the leadership of Calvin and Mr. Watson and his team. And we have a great relationship with Cristo Rey St. Viator. First of all, we're extremely thankful for the internship that the library district provides for 4 of our students. That we had 4 students working there in the academic year 2023-24, and will continue in academic year 24-25. The experience our students are having working in the library district is huge. Not only is it becoming a pipeline of potential employees for the library in the future, but it's really exposing our students, all who come from limited means, and resources to different careers and what our libraries are providing. So we're really thankful for that. The other thing that we're really thankful for is the other innovative ways that the library district continues to support families and young people in this community. The outreach team came to our campus when they partnered with Cox Communications to offer the free Wi-Fi, free internet program. And many of our families do qualify for that program. Many of our families were able to take advantage of that incredible initiative with Cox Communications, the library district. And so again, another win for the families that I serve at Cristo Rey St. Viator, supporting our kids as they work to get ready for college and the workforce as well. And last thing, I think the innovative relationship that you have with Workforce Connections and the employee and the youth hubs that are being opened is really a huge beneficial resource for our young people. I know our young people that I serve get to benefit from those experiences, but also the wider community. So as a whole, we have an incredible relationship with you, Mr. Watson, with the entire team that you have led. And so we're thankful to be partners, and we're thankful for your leadership and your support of our students and our families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ronaldo.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Maggie Farrell, 2834 Athens Ridge Drive. I am a resident of Clark County and an avid online book reader, but not 3 at a time. I'm so impressed. I am the Dean of Libraries at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and also I am the chair of the Nevada State Council on Libraries and Literacy. I want to thank you, trustees, for your service to the community that advances literacy, education, workforce development, and definitely culture for our citizens. As you consider the library, I should say, and I am speaking to agenda item B, new business, regular business 3, excuse me. As you consider the library director's performance, I thought it might be useful to have the perspective of a peer and the impact of Kelvin Watson's leadership beyond Southern Nevada. The service and visibility of the library district has never been higher or more prominent as it is now. This is a result of the effective, credible, dedicated library employees, but they are led by an energetic, visionary leader with Mr. Watson. And under Mr. Watson's leadership, there have been new programs and new services such as Hotspot, the bus internet program, upgraded online resources, the prison family program, and I could go on. What's incredible is just recently, was it just 2 weeks ago, the library district received a 3rd Library of the Future Award, demonstrating the influence and the innovation that is happening in our community. That's unprecedented. I don't know of any other library that has received 3 awards, but 3 consecutive years. Congratulations. But I also want to speak to Mr. Watson and his activity within the broader library community. He is active in the Nevada library community, supporting state development initiatives and also working with other directors. Mr. Watson and I just participated in early or late May in a program bringing together all library directors. And even with both of our busy schedules, both of us were there, and I saw how Mr. Watson engaged his peers, and being the largest library district in the state, you could see his generosity and his friendship as he is counseling and helping and engaged in conversations about state activities and with other directors. As you all know, being a library director is a very difficult job, and having peers who support you and guide you is essential. I also want to note the national profile that the library district now has. So I am a member of the ALA governing leadership, most recently as the past treasurer, current counselor at large for the American Library Association. And I see Mr. Watson active throughout the association. He is a mentor, he is a guide to new librarians, and is advancing librarianship throughout the nation. And what this brings for the Las Vegas community is a respect and an understanding about the innovation that's going on here in Las Vegas. It has even helped UNLV as we recruit nationally for librarians. Some of them will say, well, I know Mr. Watson, or I've heard about what the library district does. I've also been impressed with the caliber of new librarians joining the dedicated librarians and library staff here in the library district. So due to his leadership, I am proud to be a peer. I am proud to be a partner. And I am so impressed that his leadership, his vision, his action is not just for the library district, but it goes beyond to the state of Nevada and indeed to our country. And this is improving our community, but it's also improving our nation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dean Farrell. Is there any more public comment?
Good evening, trustees. Roger and Christina Jones. We're the owners of VegasTickets.com, 4325 South Dean Martin Drive, Suite 300, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89103. Excuse me. We are here to speak on item 8B3. Thank you for the opportunity. We are pleased to be here today in this public forum and express our sincere gratitude and share a tremendous thank you to Mr. Watson and his staff at the Clark County Library District. You have made myself, my wife, my children, and my company better as a result of our collaboration. Just over 2 years ago, I attended a breakfast meeting with Mr. Watson. I had met him before, but he was from the library. And he was scheduled to give a brief presentation. And he seemed like a great guy, but I mean, it was the library. Well, let me share with you. By the time he was done speaking, I couldn't wait to find out how I could get involved. I learned that the library was, dare I say it, cool to go back into. It's fun, it's safe, and it's engaging. Not just for children, but for teens, adults, parents, business leaders, and seniors. The initiatives that have been not only implemented while Mr. Watson has been the executive director, but also funded as a result of his community engagement and networking are certainly something to be marveled at. My wife and I, as I mentioned, own VegasTickets.com. We're a small business located here in Clark County, of which giving back is part of our core values. We are fortunate and have been able to fund a charitable giving program. I grew up in inner city Chicago, and I came from a tumultuous home. I was bullied as a child, and oftentimes on the streets where I grew up, it wasn't safe. My local library became my sanctuary. My local librarian and the staff became my family. My wife grew up here in Clark County, utilizing the resources of the Clark County Library System, and so have our daughters. Our company has become, quite honestly, as a direct result of Mr. Watson and his staff, the sponsor of the Little Learners Literacy Kits at the Enterprise Library. Starting in January of this year, we've made a 3-year commitment to fund the program. The program has been so successful and the information shared between both sides so immediate and so detailed and so great that we've already opted to increase our commitment by 50% within the first 3 months of the program. Additionally, we're in talks to expand the program at another branch within the next 6 months. I'll close with where I began. To Mr. Watson and your staff, thank you. The success of our relationship with you and the program that we are offering to the community through the library district brings a great deal of happiness to us. We know we are better for it. We know it is making a difference in our community. Under your leadership, our library district is fast becoming the standard by which all others shall be measured. Thank you.
Thank you for your generosity. Is there any more public comment? Mr. Ponder.
Good afternoon, members of trustees, Mr. Watson. My name is John Ponder. I'm the founder and CEO of an organization called Hope for Prisoners. And our organization works with people that are coming home from the prison system to help them to successfully reintegrate back into the home, back into the workplace, and then ultimately back into the community. I first came in contact with Mr. Watson probably a couple of 3 years ago, and we were having a conversation about this concept of this digital library. And it was something that was really, really exciting because when we're able to offer these opportunities to for education and for reading, if you're going to improve the caliber of how you're going to live the rest of your life, reading and educational opportunities has to be a huge part of that. So we first built the digital library in our headquarters located at 333 North Rancho. And it had become so successful with people participating in this. I made another phone call and I asked Mr. Watson, would you consider building a digital library inside Nevada Department of Corrections in the transitional facility? And Mr. Watson said yes. So we stood that up inside the transitional facility and for us to be able to see the folks there participating in it, it really got me going. So I made another phone call. We built out a vocational village in the Southern Desert Correctional Facility where we're going to help people as they come home. And I asked Mr. Watson once again, hey, what do you think about building a digital library inside the prison system? And he obviously said yes. He and his staff immediately jumped on it. So I want to tip my hat to Mr. Watson and also the staff of the Clark County Library District, because every time there was a need with dealing with this segment of the population, he immediately responded. So the work that you're doing with our folks is reaching out and touching the next generation of families. Some of the inmates that are inside are saying that their children are coming to the Clark County Library District and picking up library cards. So thank you so very, very much. Great job. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Ponder. Is there any more public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Thank you, everyone who came out for that. Agenda item number 3, board action to accept proposed agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
I do so propose.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Rogers, a second by Trustee Foyt. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Agenda item number 4, approval of proposed minutes. You should have the regular board meeting minutes for June 13th. Are there any, if there are no changes, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Rogers. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Secretary Harron. All those in favor, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Agenda item number 5, Chair's report. So trustees who are here, you were given a copy of the Las Vegas Weekly. There. And in the back is a wonderful article, interview with from Vegas Inc. with Director Watson, talking about our upcoming anniversary. It's an anniversary year coming up, and all the great and wonderful things that were happening in the library district. So if you haven't had a chance to pick that up, take a look. Also, so committees, we have to, trustees, I need your interest in committees for next year. Vice Chair Rogers is going to remain Chair of Finance and Audit. Secretary Rowan is going to remain Chair of Risk Management, and Treasurer Turner Whiteley will remain as Chair of Bylaws Committee. Does anyone wish to change their committee assignments at this time for standing committees? Nope. And Trustee Ortiz, I don't have you on my list. What committee are you on?
Bylaws.
Bylaws, fantastic. Okie dokie. So that's all I have on that. Are there any other discussions from trustees or items of interest from trustees? Seeing none, I'll move on to reports. Executive Director Watson.
Thank you, Chair Wah. Trustees, my report is submitted as always, and I'll take questions about those at the end. But before I go any further, I want to say thank you to the trustees and staff that attended the American Library Association annual in San Diego. We had lots of opportunities and sessions. I spoke at 3 different events during the event. One of the highlights of the event was attending the Spectrum Scholar Luncheon, which is they're celebrating 25 years. And I just so happened to be a Spectrum Scholar and was the keynote speaker for the 25th anniversary, and also received during that luncheon the first change maker award that the Spectrum Scholars awarded to a previous Spectrum Scholar. So definitely a highlight, along with receiving our 3rd consecutive American Library Association of the Future Award, which was also given. I want to also say thank you personally to the individual trustees by name, Chair Wah, Secretary Haron, Trustee Ortiz, and Trustee Foyt, who also attended. And I know you attended many sessions and talked to lots of vendors and other library colleagues during the event. I wanted to let the trustees know, as well as the public, to save the date for Tuesday, July 30th, where we will have our town hall kickoff meeting. This, as you know, is something that we do every year to reset for the playbook. It's going to be held at the Windmill Library, and also a live stream broadcast from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is where the public, trustees, staff all come together and learn about what the library district is planning from every department, who will give a report and update on different activities that they'll be pursuing throughout the year. Remember that this is not an all-inclusive list, because the playbook is very flexible. So as we've listened to members of during this, actually the public comment, things kind of come at us and we take them on throughout the year. Also, I want to inform everyone that is familiar with Overdrive. Overdrive is, and lots of our staff and the public use the Libby tool. Overdrive is the company behind Libby. It's the Libby app that you read your downloadable ebooks and listen to your audiobooks. And there's Canopy, and there's also magazines that they do a lot of. We do a lot of work with them in providing digital services to our community. But they will be launching their Check Out Your Library, which is a multi-year experiment that they're doing. And they're going to be launching it with the Las Vegas Clark County Library District. And so that's going to be launching next Thursday, right? No, not next Thursday, July 20th, rather, July 20th, in partnership with Meow Wolf. So we're going to be launching that with Overdrive. We will be the first library to do that. They're taking their library vehicle, which was previously known as the Digital Bookmobile. It's being reimagined and updated as it embarks on a coast-to-coast fiction and film tour in collaboration with local libraries to promote diverse offerings and the life-changing power of libraries. And so I'm proud to have us be the first partner with Overdrive to launch that. And last, I've been asked to represent the library district to join other entities such as UNLV, as well as the Clark County Museum, to discuss resources and the creation of a cultural center within the Spring Mountain redevelopment project. This cultural center would include a special collection of library materials of interest for our Asian community, along with a gallery of historic Asian American settlements throughout early Nevada and Southern Nevada. This is just the beginnings of a conversation. And again, I'm happy and proud to be asked to represent the library district as we move forward with our continued collaboration with all of our communities that we serve here. Chair, that's the end of my report. I'll entertain any questions from yourself and trustees at this time.
Thank you, Director Watson. And I'll just say for our audience, I know you guys are all busy folks, so if you have to go, feel free to get up and head out. We won't to be offended. Trustees, are there any questions for Director Watson? And if not for Director Watson, are there any reports that anyone would like to pull forward?
Mr. Chairman, just a real quick one.
Trustee Ortiz.
Floresto Caballos, Finance, thank you.
Good evening, Floresto Caballos, Chief Financial Officer for the record.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, through you. For next meeting, I don't see where the gift fund is parked. I'd like a full report on income and expenses on the gift fund because I don't see it on any where it's listed.
Okay, if you give me a moment, I believe those reports are included in the financial services reports. The gift fund information begins on page 179 in the diligent reports.
No, I really would like a more detailed, just at the next meeting, just add
Okay.
it to the backup. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Caballos? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Are there any other reports that anyone would like to bring forward? Seeing none, I will accept the reports and move on to agenda number 8, new business. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. If there any item that anyone would wish to pull for further discussion? And if not, I'll accept a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Trustee Rogers, I had a comment.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge the work and the vision and all of those who were involved in the West Side project for the Veterans Entrepreneurship Library project that's going to be in the West Side Community Incubator Room of the Nevada Partners. Being a veteran myself, I know that I have received lots of interest and just acknowledgement about that work and the anticipation of being able to use that space. I just want to acknowledge and thank all of those who were involved in that vision and the partnership and execution.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rogers. Can I have a motion to pass the consent agenda, trustees?
I do so move.
We have a motion from Trustee Foyt. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Secretary Huron. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Aye.
Motion carries. The consent agenda is passed. Moving to agenda number 8B1, discussion and possible board action regarding the engagement of Kutak Rock LLP in connection with unwinding the New Markets tax credit transactions for the East Las Vegas Library and Mesquite Library financing. Mr. Caballos.
Good evening, Floresto Caballos, CFO, once again for the record. 7 years ago, the district participated in the New Markets tax credit program to receive federal funds to help build the libraries in the East Las Vegas and Mesquite areas. As part of the program, the financial arrangement unwinds after the 7-year compliance period, and unwinding involves executing steps that are outlined in Resolution 2024-03. That's going to be discussed in the next agenda item. I'll provide more details there, but as part of the unwinding, it's important to have special legal representation to navigate the process. And QTech Rock represented the library district and its affiliates for the East Las Vegas, Mesquite, and West Las Vegas closings over the last 7 years. The firm is prominent in the industry. They're well regarded for their practical experience and knowledge of structuring new markets transactions. And in order to close out the unwinding of these financing arrangements, staff is recommending engaging QTech Rock. Barry Burns is online. He's a partner with QTech Rock. He's the actual person who provided legal services during these 3 transactions, and he can answer any questions along with myself.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Cabayas or Mr. Burns? Seeing none, I will accept a motion.
So moved. Oh, let me read it. Motion to declare fines and fees of approximately.
Vice Chair Rogers, we're on 8B1.
Oh, I think I may have went too far.
So the motion would be to authorize staff to execute an agreement with QTech Rock LLP to provide legal services in connection with unwinding the New Market tax credit transactions for the East Las Vegas Library, Mesquite Library financing, subject to final review of the engagement letter by council. So do I have your so moved?
So moved.
Perfect.
Second by Felipe.
Second by Trustee Ortiz. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Agenda item number 8B2, discussion and possible board action to approve resolution number 2024-03 related to unwinding of the New Market tax credit transactions for the East Las Vegas Library and Mesquite Library financing. Mr. Cabayas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution 2024-03 outlines the district's actions that must be taken in order to close out the financing arrangements for the East Las Vegas and Mesquite New Markets transactions. These steps were outlined or contemplated during the initial closing 7 years ago. So this is a well-anticipated exit strategy. The resolutions are pretty clear, but I'd like to just provide the board with some context to identify all the other parties that are involved, especially the library district's affiliates, the Library Foundation, and the Qualities. At the center of the structure is an investment fund, which originally gathered all of the resources that were used to construct the East Las Vegas and Mesquite libraries. The beginning of the unwind process starts with the tax credit investors, which is Capital One and Chase here, who will exercise a put, which means it will transfer ownership of that investment fund to the library district. Subsequently, the library district will redeem its interest in an entity known as a sub-community development entity, which holds loans in the investment fund that again finance all of these transactions. Once that step is complete and all the agreements executed, the tax credit investors and the CDEs, community development entities, would have fully exited the transactions. They would have received the benefits, the return on their investment that they were expecting over the 7-year period. So that will leave the library district, the foundation, and the Qualities to take actions to wrap up the rest of the New Market structure. From the point of view of the Library Foundation, they have a loan that was provided to the investment fund. These funds were originally from the library district. The library district contributed resources to the foundation so that the foundation can make the loan to the investment fund. And then the investment fund made a loan to the Qualities, who then use those funds to build the libraries. And so as far as the role of the foundation, staff will be bringing resolutions to the foundation board of directors to forgive the debt that exists between the foundation and the investment fund. Another item that will have to be executed will be for the foundation to consent to the redemption of the sub-CDE interest that the library district owns as a result of owning the investment fund itself. From there, the last step will be the Qualities for East Las Vegas and Mesquite. Those two nonprofit corporations actually own the library branches. And as part of wrapping up the structure, the board of the Qualities will be authorizing resolutions of their own in order to dissolve the Qualities themselves and distribute their assets, which are the library branches, back to the library district. That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Cabayas. Are there any questions for Mr. Cabayas?
Mr. Chairman, just a very quick comment.
Trustee Ortiz.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, through you. Thank you very much for the public that's listening. Think back what was happening 7 years ago. There's a great recession. The economy was terrible. We needed to build a couple of libraries. How do we do it? I'm proud to say that the trustees today and the trustees from before put together a mechanism to pay for it in cash, so there's no debt. Now, having said that, we are creatures of the state. We can only do what the state allows us to do. And so timing was good at this library. Trustee Shannon Bilberry Axelrod marshaled through the legislature, giving permission for the foundation to act as in the library district to be able to take new market tax credits. The cities were the only ones able to get that money, extra money. So everything worked in our favor. We were able to build 2 libraries and also to use it again for the West Las Vegas Library. And so a lot of minutia. This is where the end comes, where give us back our money. Thank you very much. Give us back the library. Here's the deed. And we closed down those mechanisms. But that was the only way the government would allow the money to flow through so that the individuals giving their money get a tax break. The library gets their money to build a library. We hold the trust and then we pay it back. That's the simple way, but a convoluted mechanism. Thank you to QTAC and all the other people involved. Thank you, Floresto, because it's a lot of minutia of keeping track. So that's a history. It's worked. We're doing it again with the West Las Vegas Library. And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Trustee Ortiz. Are there any other questions for Mr. Cabayas or Mr. Burns? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2024-03 related to the unwinding of the new market tax credit transaction for the East Las Vegas Library and Mesquite Library financings.
So moved.
We have a motion from Secretary Huron, a second from Trustee Foyt. Is there any discussion in the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Cabayas.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8B3, possible board discussion and action regarding the executive director's performance evaluation for the period of July 1, 2023 through July 30, 2024. So the background is Kelvin Watson, executive director of the Las Vegas Clark County Library District, began working for the district on February 1st, 2021. This is his second performance evaluation. The board shall annually evaluate the executive director's job performance, and if the board determines that the executive director's job performance has been satisfactory within the previous year, the executive director's pay may be increased to such extent as the board may determine, and that is desirable to do so. At this time, the board chair. Nope. We'll come back to that. So at this time, trustees, I would entertain a closed session so that way we can discuss the feedback that all the trustees have as we grade his evaluation. Do I have a motion to enter closed session?
I do so move.
We have a motion from Trustee Foyt. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Secretary Huron. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed,
Aye.
no. Motion carries. We'll be entering closed session. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here for now. And then we'll be back in a little bit. So thank you, everyone. There's sandwiches next door.
I have returned. Can you hear me? Ebony, are you there? Ebony, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Elizabeth, we can hear
Yes, we
you.
hear
Oh,
you.
good. Oh, good. Oh, good. All right. I'm sorry. Thank you.
And I think we are all back together. At this time, the board chair will present a summary of trustee feedback discussed at the executive session using the attached LVCCLD Executive Director Performance Evaluation Summary form. After approval by the board, the summary will be attached to a copy of the minutes of this meeting. So the Board of Trustees has determined that we will, or the summary of the feedback, because we need a motion to actually make it official. The summary from the feedback is trustees believe that Executive Director Watson has exceeded expectations in review, assess, and revise as needed the organizational structure of authority in which the administrative functions are arranged. He received exceeds, enhance and expand on external partnerships, local and national, and exceeds, develop, implement, and execute the district strategic plan would be and exceeds, conduct comprehensive compensation study and implement study recommendations and exceeds, and develop and monitor annual budget within established parameters and exceeds. Some of the feedback that we received was just a request that Mr. Watson continue to focus on resource development as we look to expand library services into communities that currently are lacking in library services, and then continue his work in helping foster with the president of the foundation a new agreement and memorandum of understanding so for us to operate under. So at this time, I will give Executive Director Watson the opportunity to say anything, and then we'll move on to trustees.
Thank you, Chair Wah. Trustees, thank you all for your continued support. Of course, as mentioned earlier, though I'm the leader and I guess the face of the organization, I don't do this alone. I want to thank the exceptional staff, the administrative team, Sorry, guys. Everybody's calling me it now. The exceptional staff, the administration team for their support and leadership, and just all the, nearly 700 employees that come in to do what we do day in and day out, providing the services to the community. I'm here, I'm present, not only to and for the community, but to and for the staff as well. Though we don't always do everything, all the time perfect, we certainly strive for that perfection. And people look to the library for shelter in this extreme heat. When it gets a little chilly, we're there as well. We continue to push the envelope with the way that we meet the needs of our community through our physical resources, through our digital resources. We're serving up 63% of our resources via digital, 37% print. And this is a challenge, in libraries where we have to be a little bit of both. And so, or in the case of some of the staff that's shaking their head, I'm looking out, we have to be more than just a little bit of both. We have to be everything. And that's certainly a challenge. And I know and believe that we meet the challenges day in and day out. And I look forward to continuing to do so with the support of the board, with support of the staff, and with support of the community. And I certainly appreciate all of the community leaders that came out and spoke, not only on my behalf, but to support the staff and to recognize the work and dedication that we have for the Las Vegas Clark County Library District. Thank you, Chair Watt.
Thank you, Director Watson. Trustees, do you have any comments on Executive Director Watson's performance? Trustee Ortiz?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the public watching, Tier 1 library, zero debt. I keep harping on that because it's your money. Staff, relevancy, being equitable with all populations. Director Watson has knocked it out of the park. He deserves every accolade that he can get and more. And of course, money. Money always helps. A lot of things to do still, and I think he's up to the challenge. His association with inside groups and outside groups will help us marshal that in the next 5 or 6 years. So I'm proud to be on the board here and proud to have him as our director. Thank you, Director Watson.
Thank you, Trustee Ortiz.
Treasurer, Secretary Huron.
I'm trying to do that. Executive Director Watson has made it repeatedly clear that he works above and beyond what would be considered typical for an executive director. He's put us in a position of authority, not only locally, but nationally, where people now look to the Las Vegas Clark County Library District to see what's what and how to do it. The awards and accolades are endless, and it's all because of the things that he has brought, the ideas and innovations that he's brought to the library district. To me, a good leader leads his staff and helps them to rise to the occasion. And to me, he sets the bar extremely high for himself and extremely high for his staff. And his staff has gotten there. I mean, just attained that. And that, again, that to me is good leadership. So congratulations to you, Executive Director Watson. You're killing it.
Thank you, Trustee Huron.
Thank you, Secretary Huron. Vice Chair Rogers.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And I would say, I reflect back on when, we were talking about filling this position and what we wanted in a new executive director of the libraries and how we wanted the library to be perceived locally, regionally, and nationally. And I know when Kelvin came in, he impressed us so much during his interview process by not writing down any questions that we were asking. And he just spoke from experience and confidence And, you convinced us, Kelvin, that you were clearly the best candidate. You gave us a lot of optimism in what we could become. And through your work over the years, we have exceeded the expectations that, you laid out of what you would do when you came here. And I think that's evidenced by looking at what you just said, just looking at how we've converted to the percentage of digital access of our materials. I think we've looked at you've increased overall access and where we are represented throughout Southern Nevada. I think you've also represented the diversity in those who are accessing the library materials, regardless of whether it's in person or digitally. And then certainly it's clear in terms of I've visited the annual conference in Chicago with you, and you are a rock star. It was like I was in this awe of you as I shadowed you, and just hearing how the vendors and other library directors and the board sort of regarded you and respected you and just your commitment and your career thus far. And just reiterating to me as a board trustee, how lucky we were to have you, or how lucky we are to have you in this role with us. And we just want to continue to support you. And I look forward to this continued ascension in our journey. That's going to be something we haven't imagined. So I'm looking forward to the next few years with you and what's to come.
Thank you, Trustee Rogers.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rogers. Trustee Foyt.
I have unmuted myself. Let's hope this works. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Oh, good. I believe that the report that I gave earlier or the comments that I made earlier are reflective of my opinion of what we have been fortunate to watch Kelvin achieve. I have full confidence that as he goes forward, it'll just bloom even further. And I'm very proud that he's our executive director and that I serve on his board. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Foyt.
Thank you, Trustee Foyt.
Trustee Dukowski.
Thank you. Director Watson has exceeded in all of his goals and will continue, I believe will continue to serve us. I am always amazed at all the work that gets done by the library district. And especially in areas that you wouldn't think about, but he knows he's got his hand on the pulse of it. And he's always looking for the best of the best. I am honored to be on the Board of Trustees, and I look forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Dukowski.
Thank you, Trustee Dukowski. So my comments I'll try to keep them brief. So my thoughts on Executive Watson's performance is, a lot's been made. I've heard in various spaces about the awards that, we're just kind of chasing hardware. And what's always stood out to me with these awards is that there's real people with real stories behind these. And with this latest one with the Cox Wi-Fi, I had the opportunity to meet an individual at the kickoff who, and who's used it, and I've spoken to since then, who was able to use these Wi-Fi cards to be able to do a job interview at home, and was able to get a job, and who had these resources and get training at home that otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And so, being the fact that the work that Director Watson has done, but also the library staff under his leadership has done, has made real impacts in people's lives and changed people's lives. And to me, that's, the awards are nice. They look great on the wall, but beyond that is that people's lives have been improved in this community because of Executive Director Watson's leadership, and the fact that staff feel comfortable with, they see all the innovation going on from branch managers, from Executive Director Watson, from leadership and administration, that frontline employees feel they can make suggestions, and Director Watson will meet with anyone who has an idea, an innovation, whatever it is. And so the fact that, he's instilled a sense of ownership in this district by employees, that employees feel they're not just working for the library district, but that they own a little piece of it. That the success of this library district is dependent on the work that they do and the ideas they have, and that their ideas are valued, and that they're valued. And so just that sense of leadership, I just want to commend Executive Director Watson for his leadership and being able to foster that, but also for changing people's lives.
Thank you, Chair Watt.
And so with that, trustees, I will accept a motion to award the Executive Director an overall performance evaluation score of exceeds expectations.
Moved by Felipe.
We have a motion by Trustee Ortiz. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second by Trustee Harron. Do I have any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. So second is to discuss the Executive Director's compensation for the year forward. Trustee Foyt, you had some thoughts on this?
Most definitely. Kelvin is at the top of his scale. We're not in a position right now to change that, but based on his exemplary work and his the truly fine direction of the library district, I would like to propose a 10% bonus. And I'm fully aware that unfortunately such a bonus would have to be voted on at this time, but also would not feed into his PERS. But I am confident and most assured that the 10% is appropriate in this place and time. And I'm making a proposal that this would be a 10% one-time performance bonus to be given to him as soon as the check can be cut. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Voigt. And so to clarify, so I have the worksheet for Executive Director's compensation adjustment, factoring in the 4% covered adopted for in the CBA for non-covered staff of July of last year. The 4% merit increase would be 10,698. Trustee Foyt, is this a 6% on top of that for a total of 10,000, or for a total of 10%?
I want it to be the full 10%. Yes.
Okay. So the suggestion from the recommendation from Trustee Foyt would be to approve a lump sum payment to Director Watson in the amount of $26,769.60. Trustees, is there any thoughts or discussion on this? And if not, Trustee Foyt, would you like to? Oh, Dr. Rogers.
Just to clarify for me, the normal 4% COLA, because of he's at the max in the range and we're not able to move the range at this time, the 4% plus the additional 6% would just all go in the form of a bonus.
It would be one lump sum payment.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's right. Hang on one second.
One moment. Director Serpico.
Thank you. For the record, Jeffrey Serpico, HR Director. With the COLA increases, the pay ranges do increase. So this year with the COLA, Kelvin's pay grade would increase 4%, but it would be to the max based on that COLA, which is shown in that worksheet.
And so reading this, so his
current max, I believe, is 257.
It's 267, 687.
That's the new maximum, I think.
And then with the 4%, it's 278, 394. And then that gets reduced to the maximum, which is 267, 696.
Correct.
So he would receive, instead of having a base raise, he would get a 10,698, which is 4% lump sum.
That would be his current merit. So his COLA for this year would take him to I believe the 267.
Okay, I see.
And then the merit would put him over the top. So that would get paid as a lump sum. That's the 10,000 that you see there.
Okay, so
that's an 8% right there between COLA and merit.
Okay, so now I know. I see. This is why I should have talked this through you before this. Yeah. So, so Kelvin's current salary is 257,391.
That's correct.
With the 4% COLA that he's entitled to with the CBA,
right?
That goes up to 267,687.
Right, because the COLAs will move the range points. Yeah.
So then he's entitled to the 4% from the merit.
Correct.
But that does not affect the base.
Right.
So,
it would be paid as a lump sum because he's the maximum as a lump sum bonus because he's at the maximum of his pay range.
Okay. So then the question for Trustee Foyt is, so the 4% COLA is what it is. So the question for Trustee Foyt is, are you proposing a 6% performance bonus in addition to his 4% merit, or a 10% on top of everything?
Okay, the COLA he is entitled to regardless. That's cost of living.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So set that aside. I am proposing at his current salary, not when he rolls to his higher salary, a 10% cash bonus, which I realize will not impact his PERS.
Okay. So based on his current salary, not the new salary, what you're proposing is that he'd get the merit he's entitled to, which is the 10,698, and then 10% performance, which would be $25,739.10. Is that correct?
That is correct.
He doesn't get the merit. Well, that's when it goes into a lump sum.
Right.
Yeah. So so he'd get this, and then that's what.
Right.
Okay. So I'm gonna. Yeah. So I'm going to try to do this in a motion. So the motion will be to approve setting the executive directors or this is probably worded bad. Move to approve the executive director's salary to reflect the 4% COLA and 4% merit covered in the CBA, which would result in a new base salary of $267,696, a one-time lump sum merit pay of $10,698, and a one-time performance bonus of $25,739.10. Could I get that as a motion? Someone.
I do so move.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Congratulations, Director Watson.
Thank you, trustees.
That concludes our business agenda. Agenda item number 10, announcements. July 27th at 10 a.m. at the East Las Vegas Library is the annual teachers book sale. All books are 25 cents, so please stop by if you need to restock your kids' libraries. July 30th at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the Playbook Town Hall. Trustees, if you're at Windmill Library, trustees, if you are not able to make it in person, Ms. Nance will make sure that we get a link to view it. And there is no August Board of Trustees meeting, so enjoy the rest of your summer. The September board meeting will be held on Thursday, September 12th, 2024 at 5 p.m. at the East Las Vegas Library on 2851 East Bonanza Road. And the October board meeting will be held on Thursday, October 10th, 2024 at 5 p.m. at the Clark County Library at 1401 East Las Vegas Road, East Flamingo Road, Las Vegas, Nevada 891119. Are there any announcements from trustees?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Felipe
Trustee
Ortiz
Ortiz.
for the record. Real quick, so we can get everybody home. First of all, I had the pleasure of attending the American Library Association meeting, and a lot of activity, but one that stood out is the IMLS, which stands for the, Kelvin, help me out, IMLS.
Institute for Museum and Library Services.
And in the GSA, both arms of Congress, Congress has authorized them to look at the infrastructure of libraries. We are blessed, and I use that religious term, that we look and plan for replacing and repairing our libraries. Other districts do not. So they're doing a comprehensive study, 2 years. Hopefully there's money out there for the smaller libraries that need the shovel-ready money to redo their libraries. So that was a good outcome. I did ask them to define infrastructure because that means a lot of things. Could be IT, could be roofs, could be toilets, could be all kinds of stuff. But there was a lot of good classes. So thank you. Had the opportunity to be present when we got the third year in a row for the award. Thank you very much. And then the last announcement, Mr. Chairman and Director Watson, today is going to be my last meeting. I got transitioned to the foundation board, and our attorney for the foundation board said I couldn't serve as a trustee and be the chair of the foundation board. I was already scheduled to transition off in April, so the end was going to come regardless. And so I'll be transitioning on to the foundation board. I did give notice to the appointed elected official, Olivia Diaz, Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. It's actually effective Monday because she's in the middle of getting sworn in on Wednesday as re-elected as a councilwoman. But I'll continue on as the foundation board chair so that I can help find money for all the good things and good deeds that we're doing on behalf. And I want to leave this thought, 12 years, that's how long I was on there. Almost 12 years. And what I see is this: we're at 2.3 million, going to hit 3.2 million in less than 8 years. So what is it that we're going to be prepared for? How is it that we're going to see libraries? What's the expectation of our community? That's the director's job. My job as the foundation chair is to help them find the money to meet those needs. So that's what I'll be transitioning off to. I'll put it in writing. It'll start Monday. I'm excited to go look for money. And so anybody listening, I'll be asking you for donations, 501c3 tax deductions, so we can fund this great library district. And I know it's a surprise, but it was a surprise to me when the attorney told me I had to choose one or the other. And so obviously I'm ready to move on to help raise money for this great library district. Is there any questions, Chairman Watson or Chairman Waugh and Director Watson?
I would just say, Trustee Ortiz, that we appreciate your service, your many years of service and your contributions to this board. We know you'll be back in September, so we'll be able to honor you more properly with your years of service. But this is definitely a surprise to me. So
it was to me when they told me that, make a choice. So, but I'm really excited, and so thank you.
I would say.
So if I may clarify, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Director Watson.
Go ahead, Trustee Rogers. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask for my clarification. Trustee Ortiz, is this your last meeting?
This is my last meeting. This is my last meeting because the foundation has a lot of moving parts, signing checks, approving motions, money that comes in. We're getting ready next week or the following week to close down the East Las Vegas New Market tax credits, the Mesquite Library New Market. Lots of meetings for the foundation. That's all I have to say.
Chair Waugh, are we going to do something to recognize him at September meeting? Is that what I hear you saying? So I'll know whether to save my remarks for then or I can do them now.
Yes. So since the foundation is on our September agenda anyway, we will honor Trustee Ortiz properly with hardware and everything at that meeting.
All right. I'll embarrass him then.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Trustee Executive Director Watson.
So I'll say ditto to Chair Waugh and Trustee Rogers' comments. We will certainly, again, first I'll say thank you for your service, Trustee Ortiz, especially since you were the chair of the trustees and the individual that I work with to come on board as the library director, and that we will certainly provide you with the hardware and your lifetime library card a little earlier than expected. And then I would also say I look forward to working with you as the president of the foundation.
Thank you.
Are there any other announcements? Hopefully less traumatic and jarring than Trustee
Sorry.
Ortiz's. Seeing none, we'll move to agenda item number 11, public comment. Topics raised on this item cannot be acted upon until the notice provisions of the open meeting law have been met. If you wish to make public comment on this item, you must sign up on the roster provided prior to the public comment period. Is there anyone signed up for public comment?
No, there isn't.
Given that, I will close public comment, move on to agenda item number 12. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I do so move.
You have a motion from Trustee Foyt. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Trustee Rogers. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. We're getting you out of here before 7, just barely. So everyone have a great rest of your day. Drive safe, stay cool.